Financial wellness. Reach out to them for advice at 855-DON-GINO. And now back to your hosts, Don Getling and Gino Franti.
Well, we want to thank you for joining us for the second half of the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KH. Hopefully you enjoyed the first half of the show with Kathy Greenberg with HomeSmart, giving you buyers great tips and tricks on how to be successful in a very challenging market these days. And she gave some great ones. You can always find out more information by going to donandgino.com, and we record all these for you. How about that? In fact, you can join us right here at the studio by going to donandgino.com, click on the live stream button. We have 3 HD cameras. You'll see Gino and I sporting our sporty
I think it's our
plaid.
Fall plaid season.
Yeah, exactly.
Deal. Yeah.
And then you'll see our very handsome guest, back by popular demand, Mr. Carlos Villalobos with Carlos Villalobos Insurance. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for having me over last weekend at your house. That was awesome.
I thought that was a private event. Oh, just kidding.
I know. How did I get in, huh?
That's funny. Snuck under the VIP rope, huh?
I did. They're like, well, he was in the van, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I asked for a ride. It all comes back now.
Yeah, exactly. That was great. Your home is awesome. That was
Thank
beautiful.
you.
I love all the decks. 3 different decks overlooking the whole entire valley.
Can't beat that.
No, it was wonderful. And you and your wife are great hosts. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, Don, we always say that this show is for guiding you to personal and financial wellness. And I think today with Carlos, we're going to actually hit on a couple of both. I don't think we spend so much money on insurance, all different kinds of insurance. And today we're going to talk about real life. And when there is a disaster or when you have a need, how does insurance work? Can you use it for this? Can you not use it for this? I mean, a lot of times, thankfully, we have it, but we don't need it. But what happens when you really need it? And here in Santa Clarita recently, we had a couple of large events where people needed it.
And I'll start with, why Carlos Villalobos? Well, one, how many years experience do you have?
Going on 40 right now.
40 years experience. Okay.
Let me try that again.
So you learn, yeah, no doubt. And, we chose Carlos. And again, we always say that we utilize the people that we have interviewed here and find out are the best of the best. And Carlos handles all of our insurance. You name it, auto, home, business, whatever we can get. Carlos handles it and does a great job. He's the best I've ever worked with in the 30 years I've been in the mortgage industry, without a doubt. And he's also part of America's Professional Resource Group. Remember, we put together this group after interviewing for over 5.5 years and 1,500 YouTube videos, finding the best of the best. So we put them together in one group called America's Professional Resource Group. Check this out by going to aprgi.com. aprgi.com. It's the best professionals you can find. And you can click on our magazine that we put together called The Vault Magazine. No ads in it, just articles from these pros. Great entertainment, great fun, and a great way to guide you to personal financial wellness.
Nice, Don.
All right.
So speaking of personal wellness, let's actually talk about one of Don's real life experiences here, because he's always challenged, right? He lives in a nice area. It's convenient to get on the freeway. But once every few years, you get this little thing happening in your backyard, don't you?
Yeah, I get to watch my house on TV.
And it's not in a good way.
No.
You're not getting paid for it.
It's not HGTV. It's usually channel, one of the channels going, all right, Stevenson Ranch is on fire again.
I know. So, I was telling my dad this week, it's kind of funny. You guys will appreciate this. I'm at my dad's house. It's in North Hollywood, and the ghetto bird's going over. They say LAPD. And I said, hey, Dad, it's funny. I said, we have helicopters in Santa Clarita, too, except they're yellow and red instead of blue and white.
Yes, I hate hearing that. So we have Carlos Villalobos who's going to talk about, because, of course, he's involved with insurance claims. And, Carlos, if you can share with us some of the things we need to know or should know in regard to our homes and proper insurance, and if there is fire damage, how to handle that.
Well, one of the most important things is if there is a fire, you need to advise your agent, which in turn he's going to call the company and put in a claim. Especially with smoke damage, a lot of the carriers have what they call a 30-day to a 60-day reporting. And if you don't report it within that time period, then your claim may be denied or it may be limited to the amount of smoke damage you can get. So you need to read your policies. You need to talk to your agent, find out when there's a major event. We try to call everybody. It's kind of hard to call everybody, but we always remind them, file a claim. Even if nothing comes out of it, at least it's on record. And then you have up to a year to finalize that claim.
So you can withdraw that claim. Let's say, for example, you file the claim. They come out. The adjuster looks at it. He says, hey, guys, it's only $2,000 worth of damage. Your deductible's $2,500. I don't think it makes sense. Can you withdraw that claim and it's not on your record?
It'll be on your record, but it won't go go against you. In other words, if there's zero paid out, it's no big deal.
Okay.
But at least you filed it to protect yourself.
Of course, because
Right.
if, again, after the last time that we had a major fire in Santa Clarita, I'm not going to name any names, but there was a couple of attorneys that went out and started talking to people saying, hey, you have smoke damage 6-7 months after the fact. And some of the carriers took a bloodbath. So after that, a lot of the carriers out there have an endorsement that was sent out with your renewal that most people never read.
Oh, that book that says very important, please read that thing?
And basically it states that you have to report a smoke damage claim within a certain amount of days in order to have full protection. So that's one of the things that we tell everybody. Please read your contracts. I don't care if you're insured by me, by Farmers, by Allstate. Read that contract. Make sure you know what you have. Because when it's time to file the claim or when it's time that you need coverage, that's not the time to find out what you have.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, I'll tell you, I have read it. It's not too bad. It's not a bad read. Get a glass of wine and sit on the couch and maybe 30 minutes max to read through the policy endorsements.
Yeah, concentrate on what's covered, concentrate on the limits for each coverage, and also look at the exclusions. What is not covered? You know, do you have a dwelling fire policy or do you have a homeowner's policy? Big difference. Dwelling fire may not have extended replacement costs, so it's just going to pay up to the policy limit. So if you're insured for $200,000 and your home is worth $400,000 to rebuild, with a dwelling policy, you might have a problem.
See, these are the things that, okay, again, we're here with Carlos Villalobos with Carlos Villalobos Insurance. And this is why we love working with Carlos. And this is why I've switched over and stay with Carlos, is because a lot of the insurance carriers I've worked with in the past, and most of you work with, all you care about is rate. You don't ask the questions. They don't ask you the questions. They don't even go over any of the policy details. And I love, Carlos, that you're accountable. You actually want to make sure that your clients get the proper insurance.
You don't stay in business for 40 years if you're not, Don.
No. Well, the fact is you care about your clients enough to make sure they get the proper insurance. We've had these discussions, and when we go through.
We've had, yeah. And the bottom line is when you're paying for something, it's your policy. It's not mine. So if you want to go cheap, okay, but you need to understand what is covered and what is not.
But you also have ways to work around that based on their particular policies or deductibles, or because you'll even suggest at times, why do you want a super low deductible? Are you going to only need that in case if it's a catastrophe?
Correct. And nowadays, if you do have a claim, most carriers are going to surcharge your policy for the next 3 years.
Right, and it's probably not worth it. I mean, I know I carry high deductibles
Yeah.
because I'm only going to use insurance in a catastrophic situation.
Right.
I'm not going to do it, but some people like to claim that they got their golf clubs stolen out of their car when their car got stolen. And I'm not saying that's not a legitimate claim, but you're already getting your car replaced by your car insurance. To make a homeowner's claim for your golf clubs, although you may be able to do that depending on the policy you have, $1,500 golf clubs or something like that, you could claim against your house. It's probably not worth it.
Well, you're probably going to pay that in an additional premium for the next
Exactly.
3 years.
Exactly.
You need to be careful. You need to be smart. Every policy is not the same out there.
So those $1,000 golf clubs could cost you $3,000, basically.
No, they're probably going to cost you around $1,500.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so then it's a push, and it wasn't worth it. And then you have a claim on your record. Then, if it was a water claim, forget that it's, let's just say it's a small water claim, right? But if it was a water claim, that makes your house difficult to sell.
There's no such thing as a small water claim nowadays.
That's true.
Between the claims that are out there, you get restoration companies coming out, and I'm not going to speak back about anybody, but a lot of times they charge because they want to make sure everything's dry. Sometimes I think they overdo it, but there is no such thing as a small water claim because now they're starting at $20,000 to $30,000.
Well, because the thing is, the cost of the risk of them being engaged in a mold suit down the road, they have to be ultra careful. I mean, we had at the apartment buildings, I had no choice, but we had a leak there, and we ended up, I think, with over $100,000 claim. They basically stripped the entire unit below back down to the studs.
Very easy, yeah. Very easy to get up to those limits. So.
All right. So, again, we're here with Carlos Villalobos, Carlos Villalobos Insurance, part of the America's Professional Resource Group, multi-time, professional that's always coming up with great information with his experience and knowledge and care about what's important about your insurance. Not just a lot of you, just like when we do home loans, it's not about rate. It's really about getting the best loan, Carlos is the same thing. He makes sure you get the right insurance, and he's given you some great advice of what you need to pay attention to on your claims. We're also going to talk about, when we come back, don't go away, because did you realize that you're at risk when you have, say, a gardener, a nanny, or anybody else working on your home? You're actually liable. It can cost you your home. When we come back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show.